All right, so in today's video, I'm going to be discussing probability, but as I do every week and in each video, I always like to give you the upcoming assignments. So we're in week 6. We're going to be working on Module 4 probability again, and the assignments that would be due for by October 22nd would be the Module 4 My Math Lab homework and then the Module 4 My Math Lab quiz. I also included a screenshot of how you get to those assignments. So you go to Modules in Blackboard, go to Module 4 Probability, and then click on the Assignments link. And you'll see the 2 assignments. Those are listed at the top of the Module 4 assignments. Next thing I'm going to discuss are a few reminders. Again, I've sent out emails about how to access the class or attend the class remotely if you're unable to attend it physically. But if you can't attend the class physically, you can always use Blackboard Ultra, which is located in ePortfolio for this class. And I sent out instructions on how to do it in a couple of emails, but I'm going to go over how to get to it in this video. So you go to, again, you go to this course, you click on ePortfolio and Tools, and you won't see as many icons on your screen as I have, but you want to click on Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. And once that comes up, you'll see the class listed in the sessions area. So you click on that, and then you would click on Join Course Room. So that's how you get into Blackboard Ultra or you attend class remotely if you can't be on campus. All right, the next thing is you have to complete the just-in-time survey, which is located in Module 3. I know a lot of you have already completed it, but if you haven't completed it, it is located in Module 3. So we're going to go in there, go to Module, scroll down to Module 3, and you see it right here, the first thing that's listed, just-in-time survey, week 5. For the instructor name, you use my last name, and for the course, you use MATH201-502. And the third reminder is that the Module 3 homework and Module 3 quiz, I extended the deadlines for those assignments. The new due date for those is October 29th. All right, now the discussion on probability. It would be very difficult for you to go through one single day without encountering a reference to probability. Whenever you watch the news and you hear a weather report stating that there's going to be a certain percentage chance of some type of weather, you're hearing about probability. So the meteorologist might say there's a 50% chance of rain or 80% chance of snow. That is probability. Probability is very helpful because it provides a way for us to measure and discuss the uncertainties associated with future events. So another example of that would be in sports. If you do fantasy football or if you watch sports on certain shows, they'll show a score. When they show the score, they'll show a certain percentage chance of a certain team winning. And depending on the time of the game that's left in the game and the score and who has the ball, those percentages changes. It changes throughout the course of the game. So at the beginning, everybody has a 50% chance of winning. But as each team takes the field and certain plays transpire, you'll see that percentage change in favor of one team or the other. Another name that's used for probability is odds or chances. Again, the scenarios involving probability are all around us. There's quite a few vocabulary terms in this unit. these terms are unfamiliar to you, then you may need to have a method for organizing the terms to learn them all. You might want to create a chart in which the first column lists the words and the second column gives the definitions. So we have three main types of probability that we're going to discuss in this video. The first type of probability is theoretical, and theoretical is based on what should happen. Theoretical probability of an event is the number of ways that the event can occur divided by the total number of outcomes. So it's finding the probability of events that come from a sample space of known equally likely outcomes. So to calculate the theoretical probability, let's use a white. All right, so to calculate theoretical probability, again, we take the number of ways that an outcome or that the event, oh, my writing is terrible, that the event can occur, and we divide that by the total number of outcomes. And sorry about the bad writing. So the number of ways that the event can occur divided by the total number of outcomes. That's how we calculate theoretical probability. So an example of theoretical probability, if you use a coin example, we know we have two possibilities, heads or tails. So our total number of outcomes is 2, and that number would be the denominator. So we would put 2 at the bottom. We know that there's only one way that heads can occur. Either we land on heads or we don't. So the probability of landing on heads is 1/2. The probability of landing on tails is the same thing. We know there's only 2 outcomes that can occur, and we know that it's either going to be tails or it's not going to be tails. So the probability of heads occurring is 50% or 1/2, and the probability of tails occurring is 50% or 1/2. So the next type of probability is empirical probability. Empirical probability of an event is an estimate that the event will happen based on how often the event occurs after collecting data or running an experiment in a large number of trials. It is based specifically on direct observations or experiences. So it's what actually happens. If we use an example of coins again, we can flip a coin 10 times and mark down the number of times our coin landed on heads and how many times it landed on tails. It may not necessarily be 5 times each. It could be that our coin landed on heads 4 times, or that our coin landed on tails 6 times. But we can come up with the empirical probability by, again, taking the total number of outcomes. So the total number of outcomes is 10. And we're going to flip the coin to see how many times the coin lands on heads and how many times it lands on tails. And based off of that, the denominator is going to stay 10, but the numerator is going to change based off of whether we're trying to get the probability of heads or the probability of tails. So if we flip the coin, let me put probability here and probability of tails there. So if we flip the coin 10 times, and let's say that heads came up 3 times, well, we know that's a 30%. It happened 30% of the time. So we know that we did it a total of 10 times. So 10 minus 3 is 7. So it landed on tails 7 times. So it landed on tails 70% of the time. So again, it's not always going to be 50-50. It's just basically flipping a coin and recording what actually happened so you can come up with that empirical probability. So finally, the third type of probability is subjective probability. And this is based on personal experience or judgment. An example of that would be if you got a bad code, a really bad code, you're gonna say, I'm feeling real bad. I don't think I'm gonna get 70% of sleep tonight. So based off of your experience in the past, you know that once you get a code that sleep's not really happening for you. So you're just going to subjectively say there's a 70% chance that I'm not going to get good sleep tonight. So that's the third type. So the three types of probability that we have are theoretical, empirical, and subjective. And depending on how you want to figure out probability, you're going to figure out whether it's something that you want to base it off of what should happen, what actually happened, or you're going to use personal experience or your intuition to figure out a probability of something not happening. All right, so the last thing I'm going to discuss is the journal entry. I know it's a short video, but there are some activities that you will be participating in class to go over probability. But in your journal entry, as you do every week, you talk about what you learned in today's class. If there's anything that you would like me to review from this week's discussion or this week's lecture, make sure you email me to let me know what you want to discuss. And then again, it has to be at least 50 words for you to get credit for it. And in the subject line, it's very important that you include the proper subject line. So I'm going to type here. So in the subject line, you want to put MATH201, and then so the date would be 10/15/21, and then you would type journal entry. So that's what should be included in the subject line. If you have any questions throughout the week, always the easiest way to get in touch with me is through email, but you may also call me or text me, and I will get back to you as soon as possible.